right, this is Memory Matters with Big Mitch. We have a great guest today, and her name is Margaret Morrison. She was born December the 12th, the second day, 1938. And we're here to hear her story. How you doing, Margaret?
I think I'm okay. I'm glad to be here.
That's good. That's good. And we want to begin your story from earliest you can remember from your childhood.
Okay.
And you can begin from that point.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you like this. I was born in Union Springs, Alabama, on December 2nd, 1938, on a farm, a rural farm. My grandmother and my grandfather owned. My parents lived near there, and I lived basically with my grandparents because my father and my mother split up when I was a child, and then they went their ways. And so I was left with my grandmother. My grandfather owned the farm.
How many acres was it?
I really don't know. He had he farmed cotton, corn, and sugarcane.
Wow.
And everyone around that area worked for him. Yeah, and he had what he called hands. They didn't call them sharecroppers. He called them hands.
That's right.
And that time when we all know that slavery was that existed. So a lot of the people still was sharecroppers, and they worked for my grandfather, and who my grandmother actually ran the farm. Where my grandfather he went uptown and waited for his products to come in to be weighed and collected the money for, and he came back to the farm where all the workers were. And at that time, I was 4 or 5 years old when I started to remember. And so my grandmother would go to the farm, and my grandfather would go uptown to the weighing place, and she would leave me clothes and food. And she asked me, do you want to go to the farm with me? And I would say, to the field, I should say, to the field. And I would say yes. Sometimes I'd say no. And she would leave me in that big house by myself if I didn't want to go. And she would lay my clothes out, and she would go to the farm, to the field, and she would stay there until 12 o'clock. And you won't believe this. At 4 and 5 years old, she's gone away to the field, and she come back at 12 o'clock to make dinner. I would have to start the fire in the wooden stove at 4 and 5 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. And she could come home, and she would have everything lined up. I had to put the water on the stove because in those days you didn't have like a hot water coming out of the faucet.
Right.
So she would, I would have the water hot. I knew where to get the kindling, start the fire, and she would come home, and she would cook this big meal, and she would go back to the field. She said, "You want to go?" Sometimes I said, "Yeah." Sometimes I said, "Okay, you don't have to go." And I never really did any farm work.
Sound like you were old soul at 5.
I guess so. Yeah, because I was by myself, and my father and my mother weren't there. He was gone his way, she was gone her way. So my grandparents, they were really nurturing, and I had a good life until I was 5 years old. And then at time, it was a turning point for me, all the way to my date. This day, I'm 86. I'm almost 87 years old, and at 5 years old, it had that profound effect on me. When my grandfather died, and that was the one I bonded with. And so then my father, he had gone on to Birmingham, Alabama, off the farm. And so he said that I had to go to school. So I left the farm, and I went to Birmingham, and I started school there in the first grade.
And you were living with who at that time?
I was with my father in Birmingham, Alabama.
So you reunited with your father?
I reunited with my father. He had married again.
And what year was that?
About 1943.
Okay.
Because I started to school in the first grade. That was 1943, right after the war.
Okay.
Of course, the migration had started with Black people moving out of the rural South and going north and whatever. So we had a stop over there.
Okay.
And then after that, I went to school for a while, and then my husband had come up from Birmingham. He lived in Birmingham. Then he got in the military, and so they moved to Boston.
Okay. You were still in elementary school?
Yeah. I was in elementary school. So we went.
Moved to Boston. Okay.
Yeah. So we went. Right after that, we went to Boston to reunite with my cousin who brought her mother and who was my grandmother, and we all lived there. So then that was a different life for me because I was scared of everybody.
So you left Birmingham
and went to
and
Boston.
you don't remember what age you was about in Birmingham when you moved to Boston?
I was about 8 or 9.
Oh, you still in elementary school?
Yeah,
so
about 8 or
now
9
you're in
years
Boston.
old. And but I remember that I was kind of hesitant because the farm. I love the farm. I'm telling you, I love that farm. And relocating to Birmingham was a totally different life.
City, yeah.
It was totally different because my grandmother had the nice little farmhouse and the chickens and the cows and the pigs and the stuff running around. I was used to that. I was orientated to getting the eggs and all that kind of stuff, helped my grandfather and all that. And then I went to Boston. I went to Birmingham, and then there was a whole different story. You know, you got the city.
Pace,
And I was like, what is
crowd,
this?
a lot of folks.
All that stuff. And I was like, okay. So, but it wasn't long before I got used to being in the city. And before I got adjusted to the city of Birmingham, I'm off to Boston. And that was the biggest change in my life.
Now you're trying to get integrated into the school system there.
Yeah.
From Alabama, now you're in Boston school system. Yeah. And you're in elementary school there. And
elementary school there.
And how do you
transition
in the school system
there? The thing is, like in those days, way back in those days, we don't know this, but if in Boston at that time, if you came from a different state or different, especially the South, they wanted you to pay for the whole year instead of public school. That's a public school.
Pay back.
Yeah, they
want you didn't pay taxes for a year. They want to get that money back.
Yes.
Okay.
But that was around the time, so they readjusted for me. I didn't have to pay that kind of money. But then I went on to school and went on to junior high, went on to high school.
Now, elementary school, did anything that stood out that you liked about Boston Elementary School and teachers?
I wasn't used to the teachers because in Birmingham, and they were all, I could relate to them because I had never seen all these white people. And the teachers in Boston only had one black teacher in the whole school in Boston. And I was used to having all black teachers. And so that was a transition. And so it was
from segregated to
open. And it's like, where am I? And I was like,
integrated.
And you know, the teachers in the South were like your parents. You know, you they could beat you, they could talk to you in the kind of like your parents, you know. And that was a different kind of a situation for me. But it worked out all right, you know. But I kind of still, I hadn't fully adjusted from being actually from the farm life. I mean, Birmingham was okay, but I had loved the farm because basically my grandfather was there. He was like my everything, you know. He was there for, I had bonded with him.
Right.
So I liked that. So, but my father was there, and then he soon left Birmingham. He moved to Florida. So then I was like with my aunt, who took care of me until we went to Boston. So then that was my beginning of starting my life like it is today.
Right. In the Boston school system.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite teacher in elementary school?
I did. Oh my gosh, I did. The only teacher I really, really bonded with was my my teacher who lived up the street from the school, and we would walk up to her house in the morning. All the little kids just right up to her house because she lived near the school, and wait for her to come out. And she was the best teacher. And Miss Terrell, I'll never forget Miss Terrell. She loved the kids. She did everything for us to advance us. You know, she took the time to talk to us, and she was saying things that we didn't even know about at that time. But she was saying things to get us on the right track. And like, we don't know what you're talking about. But at that time, we were so young, we couldn't even realize what she was saying to us. And she just took so much time teaching us and didn't mind us coming to her house and sitting on her steps and her porch, waiting for her to come out every morning. We took her books and she'd hold our hands. And she was the best teacher all through the years that I can remember. Yeah, she was really good.
What grade did she teach?
Third, I think second or third grade. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then you migrated to high school from elementary school.
I went migrated to junior high school.
So y'all had middle school then?
Yeah, middle school. Right down the street from me in Boston.
They didn't have, you know, I started school in the mid '60s, and we We didn't have middle. We just went to elementary school to high school.
Oh, really?
So
Oh, no.
so I guess in Boston they had
Well, in
elementary,
Birmingham,
middle
yeah,
school, and then I guess we caught up later on.
Well, Birmingham, they
decades
had it too.
later.
They had elementary, middle school, and high
Oh
school.
wow!
Yeah, and Boston they had. So I went to the same middle school as my daughter there. She would, and the funniest thing, I told her I went to that middle school that she went to. She said, "That school wasn't built when you went to school." No, that school wasn't built when you went to school. I said, "I think so."
So with the same middle school.
Yeah,
man, Georgia was behind. Good gracious,
really?
Atlanta was. Man, you didn't have middle school.
We had middle school, and then we went to high school.
Anything stand out in middle school? I guess that kind of.
Yeah, I still had, like I said, what stood out with me.
Getting ready to go into your teenage years, so I kind of molded you.
Yeah, the strictness of middle school was the whole thing. You'd have to when you change classes, you walk single file to the next class.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't talk, you couldn't look around, and every teacher was standing outside their door,
right,
to correct you anything that you might have done. And I like the fact that basically there was all the teachers was white except for one. It was the gym teacher, and no core black teachers didn't have any core subjects. And but I like the fact that most of the kids were from my neighborhood, and I knew them in school and I knew them outside of school, and that was in junior high.
What was that neighborhood like?
The neighborhood was transitioning in Boston. It was a Jewish neighborhood, and after World War II, the Southerners started to move up to that area, and they were buying the houses in that area.
Right.
So the Jewish families were moving out down the next town to get away from the blacks who were moving in.
Right.
So only a few white kids were in the school system there, a few Italians, a few Jewish kids. So basically, when I got to middle school, most of the children and students were mostly black, because it was just at the time all the white people were moving out, and we were transitioning to a black community, which is the same thing today. They're transitioning back into the black community.
Right.
Yeah, because it's so
they
centralized.
Call it white flight, and then
they're coming back, buying the houses and everything.
Then they call it gentrification, coming back.
So yeah, they want to come back now. Can't win. Yeah,
right,
so that's about how it was.
I know when I was a kid, I guess I had to walk kindergarten. I think I was walking probably about a mile.
Really, to go to school?
Because we would go across the railroad track, and then we go up a hill and down a hill, and you wouldn't let a 5-6-year-old walk to school like that now. And we would stop at we used to have a store. Ladies used to sell cookies and drinks and stuff. We would get drinks and walk on to school and stop back and get some more cookies and drinks and go home.
Well, that's how it happened to me in elementary school. We had the same setup. We walked to school, and then you get to a little store and you buy your little cookies and drink, and then you go on to school. And after school, you go back and buy your little cookies and drink, and you walk home. That was in Birmingham. We did that. But when we moved, when we moved to Boston, the school was here, right down here, and right. There was a little circle, and nobody had to walk 2 blocks. You were at the next school. 2 blocks you at the next school.
You didn't have to get on a bus. You walked.
No, it was right there at your doorstep. In high school, I go up my back door here, and the school was, I can't say half a block. It wasn't even half a block from my house. The other school was like a block. So that elementary, the junior high school. Yeah, it was a fun time. All the kids were, together, and everybody was friendly, and the kids knew each other. There was no really bad times. I mean, they fought. They had their times to fight and be angry. They punch each other out.
Kids, yeah.
And then it was over with.
What kind of games y'all played up there in Boston? There's small kids. Know.
Well, we played
hopscotch and all that kind of stuff.
Same thing.
Jackstones.
Same thing. Play house. You play hopscotch. I think the big difference were we were allowed to have sports that like, and I think in the South there's. You had your sports, but the sports in Boston, like black and white played together.
Right.
You could, black teams. The teams were made out of the students were white and black, you know.
Mhm.
And around the neighborhood, you just played the regular neighborhood sports. Games that everybody played all over the country. It was no big difference, you know. But like I said, I think the major thing that I guess I'm comparing it to the day that the kids got along, like I said, but they punched each other out. Was no,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
next day they were back together.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know?
We fought in high school, stuff like elementary school. Wasn't no big deal. They'll throw you
No.
out of school now for that.
There was no big deal back in there. You know, it was a good time. It was really a good time. Everybody knew each other, and everybody socialized
Well,
together.
My curious thing, we didn't have snow like y'all do. What do y'all do when y'all just stayed in the house?
Are you kidding me?
Snow all over the place, you know?
Stay in the house? Oh, that was the best time in the world. My daughter can tell you. That was the best time. You get out there. You coming out? You got your sled? You go up and down the next all the way down the street, you know, knock on each other's door. And I can see. And the thing was, it would be so cold, and you're freezing and you don't want to go in the house. You did not want to go in the house. You want to stay out all day and you'll be free. You have to go in the house. Oh no, I can't go in the house. And you have your little sled and you running and playing, throwing snowballs. It was fun, you know. Everybody just all together.
Right,
you know.
right. When it snows here, it's shut down and all the breads are gone in the shelf and eggs is gone, toilet paper gone. Everything is gone when it snows down in here. It just locked down, you know.
That's what I couldn't understand. I said, if that happened, we would never be in school. You know, we would never be, because all that snow. And the thing is that they prepare. I think what happened is that here in the South, they don't expect to have the snow and the freezing and so we in the North, they're prepared to that. They get out shoveling. I mean, round the clock. The snowplows are out there shoveling.
Got equipment.
They're out there
and annually.
Yep, around the clock. So you don't miss 2 minute snow days. And if it has to be really bad. The blizzard of 78 was the snow was up to the roof of the house. That's the worst snow we ever had. And the kids loved it. They just climb up to jump off of the roof of the house, and it was so much fun. But everything was shut down as far as not a lot, but some things were shut down. But it was the best time for everybody. Yeah, the snow didn't bother us too much.
Oh, wow. Getting in high school, so now you're a teenager. And
high school was kind of crazy. I liked school. I liked school a lot because I didn't want to miss anything much. But it was trying because it was just transitioning a lot, you know.
Right.
Yeah, to high school. So I did okay in high school. I was on the honor roll, but I have to tell you this. In high school, I told you earlier how the Jewish kids moved out.
Right.
Okay. The high school they were all used to going to the same high school that I went to. So that particular high school, those parents of the Jewish kids, they were really, really interested in their kids getting a good education. And the Jewish kids' parents were in that school every day. So which meant that any kid in that school was going to get a good education because those parents were really
demanded it.
Yeah, they demanded that education for their kids. So those kids would take the public transportation back to that same high school that I went to where their parents had moved out. They would sit these kids there and they demanded a very good education. And those parents walked those corridors every day.
So
I can remember.
the whole boat everybody's boat got lifted up.
Exactly.
Because of their interest in
and we all benefited. But I'll tell you about myself. So I was like, those Jewish kids, we had two classes. One was business and the other one was college, right?
Wow.
So I am not going to take no college course because that's too hard. I'm taking business class because that's easy. I can shoot right through there.
Right.
So then anyway, I was in my homeroom class one day. I saw my counselor come in and I know
that's a good thing.
Yeah, but I didn't want to. I saw her come in. I said, "Oh, she's going to aim this right at me." I knew she was, and sure enough, she walked out. And my homeroom teacher said, and I went up. She said, "Oh, don't go to study hall today. You got to go to see it." And I was like, "Oh no!" I went to see my guidance counselor, and she said, "We're taking you out of the business class, and we're putting you in a college class." Oh no! And that means I got to work now.
You trying to be on easy street?
I was on easy street, getting on the honor roll. Getting on the honor roll was so easy. I still got my honor roll card today. I still have, and I loved it. So she said no, because I had gone on I had been on the honor roll. So she said, "There's no sense you wasting your time." And I'm like, "Oh,
she wants you to search yourself."
Yes, you want man. So you can do this. So then I went. I was like, I said okay. So I didn't want to do it because I just went through business. And then she put me in college. And let me tell you, you know what happened? All the black kids in that school was in the business class. All those Jewish kids were gone to college. They were in the college class. They're taking the college math. They're taking the college English. All the core subjects. They were bound. Yeah, they were bound to go to college. And all the black kids like, yeah, I'm going to get a job. I don't know what I'm going to do. And it would look like they were segregated because if you walk past the classroom door, you would see that all these black kids, they were in the business class because they're going to go to the grocery store. They're going to be doing the cash register or stuff like that. These white kids know that they were college bound. So you go by their classroom there, all these white kids were sitting in there, you know, but it wasn't segregated.
Well, their parents knew.
They knew they were pushing their kids.
Right. They knew their kids had to be in those.
Exactly. And so she took me, and I was in college English. It was like, I said like 25 kids in the class. It was like 2 of us in there, that 2 black kids in that class. 2 black kids in that class. Physics, 1. I was the only one in physics. I was like, oh no, I can't do this. But I'm telling you, one day I was sitting there looking out the window, and the teacher said to me, and she called me. I'm like, what? And she said something to me. And then I looked around at her and I said to myself, wait a minute, I'm wasting my time. I better get on this. And it woke me up, you know. Mm-hmm. But I tell you what she did. You know what she did to me?
What was that?
She took me and set me outside the classroom for a whole week because she wanted to get my attention.
She got it.
But I didn't. She didn't leave me out there. She came out and taught me the same thing. This is how good they were. She taught me the same thing she teach the kids in the classroom. So I like, okay. So she was teaching me this, and I woke up, and my daughter can tell you. So today from her name was Miss Palm. We hated Miss Palm. Nobody liked her, but we loved her because she was so strict, and she made sure the kids learned. And in Boston, there was no co-ed. All the schools were either girls' school or a boys' school. So I went to all girls' school and all boys' school. There was no mixing. There was no mix. There was no mixing class.
Do you think that that was a good thing?
Well, you know, at the time, it was like we didn't like it. We didn't like having that kind of stuff. But I think, in a way, I think it was good. There was no competition. There was no interruption, and we weren't competing. It kept everything in order. And so I look back and I think it was okay, you know. Mm-hmm. And all the high schools were all boys and all girls. No co-ed high school.
Well, it's no different from Spelman and Clark. Yeah. I mean, Spelman and Morehouse.
Yeah, like that. You know. Yeah. So we learned pretty good. And like I said, the reason I say we learned pretty good, the kids who graduated from that school had gone on to college, and they would come back to talk to the students or to visit the school and talk to the. You know what happened? They were equivalent to when they graduated. They were equivalent to a sophomore in college.
Oh, okay, that's good. They
were well equipped.
The students would get feedback. From kids that had.
The kids would come back.
I like that.
Yeah, and they would come back and they would talk. And they'd come to assembly. We have assembly.
Yeah,
and they would come and they were equivalent. They showed you the grades. They showed you everything, and they were equivalent to a sophomore.
So you got an opportunity to see somebody who's sat in your seat and where they are in college.
Wow. Yeah, that was good. And it was like
I like that approach.
Kind of help you see where you could go.
Yeah, but
we couldn't see because they would say, "Oh, you're going to be running the country." I'm like, I ain't running on country. What are you talking about? I ain't running nothing. You know? And we're like, what are you talking about? We wouldn't want to hear that. But anyway, high school was good.
Okay. And now you're starting to get 11th and 12th grade. Yeah, you kind of know who you are. Mm-hmm. You start learning more about yourself. well, what I may be doing in the future, and I imagine some teachers was kind of like, give me some influence. Was any as a junior or senior in high school, was there any influences that you say, I
Well,
want to be that when I get out of high school?
well, I tell you, you have to look back. I'll be 87 years old. Okay. Way back then, you were socialized. If you were a girl, female, you were socialized to be a mother, take care,
A homemaker.
homemaker, take care of your kids, cook, wash, all that kind of stuff, and get a job if you can. I'm talking about the Black community,
Right.
and you weren't socialized as not all of us, but a few of us. You weren't socialized to be go on to do a lot of other stuff, especially with my background, because as I told you earlier, my grandmother raised me, and she was illiterate. Well, you couldn't cheat her out of anything, but she was illiterate. Her background was even more worse than mine, because she had told me her stories. Like, my grandmother's grandmother was a slave, so all of that came into play when my grandmother raised me. So she didn't have a kind of knowledge to say, okay, you go. As much as she was proud and wanted to do things, she never knew how to, to teach you how to go on to educate, higher education, and all that stuff. So I was programmed to basically to be, take care of the home, and later on get a job. So that's basically how I was socializing at that time.
But you got some independence too.
Oh, totally, totally.
Yeah.
The reason I got independence because I was the only child.
Right.
And my grandmother couldn't read or write. So I was in like third grade. She would say, "Come here, baby, and read this to me. What does this say right here?" And so I had to get the money. She gave me the money to pay the gas bill, the electric bill, and all that kind of stuff. And I had to run to the bank. I had at third grade, I had to go do all that stuff. And so I got, I guess for third grade, I got like 9, 10 years old. I could cook a whole meal.
Wow.
Yeah, because that's how it was.
But she had wisdom.
Yeah,
common
yeah.
sense,
She had all kinds of wisdom.
Remarkable. And ethics and morals. And, that was passed on to you.
She tell you. Every tub's got to sit on its own. Every tub has to sit on its own bottom.
Absolutely.
I didn't know what she was talking about. What? I was thinking I was a teenager. I was like, oh, she said, you are responsible for yourself and nobody else. Nobody else is responsible for you but you. And so I had to live that way. And I learned early on to be independent, to take care of myself,
Right.
and work myself, take care of my family and all that.
You didn't do any sports, other extracurricular activities as you got to the junior, senior year?
No, I didn't,
in high
because
school?
I didn't do anything like that because, like I said earlier, my background where I came from, it was like, you came home. My grandmother sort of like, you were just wasting your time. She didn't think in that kind of way, like more open, like you could have the opportunity to do other things. Like I raised my kids to do everything. Right. She didn't think that way, she wanted you home. So because it was like a protective thing, and I don't hold it against her, but I don't, she didn't know any better.
Right.
But long as she could see you, she was protecting you. And that's basically how I grew up. I didn't do many outside things other than going to church, a lot of that, stuff like that, but not a lot of extra activity.
Yeah, and you with your auntie in Boston.
In Boston.
Right.
Yeah, my cousin and my aunt.
Yeah.
And then my grandmother came up from the South.
Oh, she did? She moved up with you? Wow, that's great.
She came up from the South. Her daughter, my aunt, she came up they brought her up from the South because my grandmother had, my grandmother had come to Birmingham before, then she came up to Boston because she could no longer handle the farm by herself.
Correct.
So she came on up, and I was with her,
Okay, so you still had her mentorship in the home over there. So she kept one eye on you all the time, right?
It's still influenced right now. She's dead and gone. It's still there.
So I can imagine her coming from the South in Alabama and then moving to Boston. So I guess she adjusted to the snow, the cold, the little faster pace in the city.
And she didn't change anything. She was the same person on that farm as she was in Boston. She was the
I
same.
can imagine. I like to see her in that city going around town.
Yeah, she was a heavy hand on everybody. And everybody in the family sort of respected her because she had the wisdom. And anything that I do today, I would say, "No, what would Mama say? And if I say that, 9 times out of 10, that's what I come out with the right answer. Because she had a saying for everything. And then, if it's good or bad, So I kind of think about her a lot. Yeah.
You getting ready, you're a senior and you're approaching graduation day. What are the thoughts are going through your head? You say, hey, I finna be an adult. I'm gonna be on my own soon,
Not quite. I thought, but what happened was that I got my grandmother, she was there, but she was always coaching me to get a job. So I graduated, and then she and I had words way before I graduated. I didn't get along with her at all. I thought she was my grandmother. I lived with my grandmother in Boston. At first I lived with my aunt, but then I started to live with my grandmother. And at that time, when I got in high school, I thought she was the meanest person in the world. Until I got older, I didn't know that she was trying to groom me to be the person I am today. But I didn't get along with her. So I was like, I got to get away from you, lady. So
that's what sometimes that the daughter and mother start start bouncing.
Yeah, that's so I got married. I got married right out of high school, and so I moved right away. I met my husband. Actually, he wasn't my husband that time, but I met who I married, and then right out of high school I got married and I got away from her. So that began my life, my second life. Yeah, I worked a little bit, and then I didn't work very much, and I had started to have my children, and that's kept on doing that until they got, I didn't work when they were little. My husband didn't want me to work when they were little.
How many kids you have?
How
many kids you have?
4.
4, okay.
Yeah, my oldest son passed away a few years ago. But I worked until they got in school age, and then I got a job, and at it's a funny thing. I got a job at their schools. All the schools that I went to, I got a job. They didn't I got a job. I followed them.
Did they like that?
No.
Mom working at the school.
They
why are you getting a job at my school?
They know me. They know me. Yeah, so I got married very early on. Got an apartment.
You were how old when you got married? 18, 19?
19.
19 years old.
Okay. Right out of high school.
So you saw that guy and
he
winked at you and it began, huh?
Well, my husband he was in the Navy.
Okay, so you had an all-white uniform, huh?
Yeah, black. He was
Popeye.
Huh?
Popeye the Sailor Man.
Yeah, I met him. He was with my cousin who was in the Navy. Had a friend in the Navy, and so they would come to visit us because my cousin would come to visit us, and he brought my husband's brother, and my husband's brother said, I have a cousin your age, around your age, yeah. So he came and like, I ain't interested in you. You just go back where you came from. So he came, he kept coming. And then he went away on, they go out to sea, so he kept coming back. And when they came in, he was back again. So then we started talking. So I got to know him. And then later on, we got married.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it lasted a little while. And then that was the end of that. Yeah. But it was okay. We had 4 children. It was okay.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing came out of it.
Yeah.
One of your children wound up being a friend of my wife and a friend of mine, Lisa.
Oh, Lisa, She was one of them who did everything. She had a good life. She Oh, gosh, I can't even go with her. She did so much. Yeah.
You moving on. You raising the kids, and then you worked in the school system that they worked that they went attended, and I guess you make sure they stay out of trouble.
Oh yeah.
And you knew all the teachers.
Listen to me.
And
I
you
made
kept tabs on everything they did.
Yeah, I got them through school, and some of them went to college, and I worked to the school system until I got my husband and I separated. So after we separated, my other life began then.
What direction were you headed in?
Community activist.
Oh, really?
Wow. I became a community activist. That's where I got involved with white people who were moving on, and they brought me under their wings, and they taught me a lot of stuff in the community. So I started to work with them.
What was the name of the community activist organization you were with?
Oh, it was called Fair Share.
Fair Share.
And we got into that because the mayor that we had, he just wrote the black community off, and then this white group was doing stuff, so they asked me to join them. So I did, because I was really interested in getting.
So you knew someone that was already in the organization.
Somebody came to me. Somebody gave them. They were looking for somebody to be active in the organization, the black community. This is a white organization, but they wanted somebody in the black community because nobody. So they asked somebody to
give them a name.
They gave them my name.
They said, "Hey, Margaret,
so I said,
"Yeah, good for this thing."
Yeah, so I said, "Yeah." So this is a jumping off point for me. And I got out there, and they taught me. They taught me everything, and I started to work with them, and then I got kind of political.
So what? I know they had a strategic plan. We're going to do this. So what was the organization plan they wanted to attack to improve the black community?
Well, the black community, the mayor who was there at that time, he wrote to black. He said, he said, this is what he said literally. He said, the black community is dead. I'm not allocating any finance or anything into the black community. He said that literally, and
even though they pay taxes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he didn't, and everything was going downhill. No,
he just wanted their money.
Yeah, that's right. And nobody was supporting him. So then this other politician was running, and so me being an activist, he started to run, and then they asked me to head up his campaign in the black community. So I had my area, or all the black people in my area. So I headed up his. They have in Boston, in a big city, it's not like down here. You have street after street after street. It's like this. Say like it's First Avenue, Second Avenue, Third Avenue, all the way down.
Correct. Okay.
Over here, and the same thing over here. So you go block by block by block. So I did that for him, and he won.
Okay. Who is this guy? What's his name?
His name is Raymond L. Flynn.
Raymond S. Flynn.
And he ran in the mayor, and guess what he did? He said, "I want you to run my office."
So he was a Bostonian.
He was a Bostonian, and they said he's a racist. That's because you know what happened during busing? Those people.
They say he was a racist.
Yeah, because the community, he came from South Boston, and South Boston during busing, the South Boston didn't want their kids to mix with the black kids. They was sending their kids over here or over here, and South Boston. And he came from the area was really tough on. I didn't have no problem with it because I didn't want my kids bused either, but everybody had their kids.
Right.
So they were hard on that area was hard. So they were speaking up. No, I'm not going to. But other parts of Boston, they weren't doing that.
I didn't think that made him racist. You didn't think that either.
I didn't see it.
Because you supported
But you know what happened was there was a black guy who was running as well. So they wanted me to work for the black guy, and I didn't see him going anywhere. And I worked for this guy who they said was racist, but I didn't see him being as racist.
Right.
Because he came from that environment.
Right.
So I worked for him, and he won. And then he put me in charge of his office, and I ran his office for 10 years.
Right. So you saw straight through the propaganda and said, "Hey, this man is ethical. He's decent. He's going to improve our community."
And he did.
Yeah, because he was an inside advocate, so you knew.
And he came to me asking me questions about whatever he did, especially in the black community, because he wasn't familiar, because he came from a different area. And so he would ask me a lot of different things, and I would tell him what I thought, And he hired. I was the first one to sit in that seat in his office, like 4 of us. Well, him, his executive assistant, his executive secretary, and me, a staff assistant.
So you more like the community liaison.
Exactly.
Right.
Whenever he go in my community, I was there, and I ran it, and I sat there for 10 years until he left.
10 years.
Yeah,
Okay,
and 10 years, and then he hired more Black people and put more people of color in upper positions than any other mayor in Boston had done, and a lot of people in a lot of
the early when he first got elected,
Mhm.
He was in that office, and what was his first year? What was his challenges in that year that you helped bridge him with the kind of give him an understanding? Because you were from the Black community, were you able to give him some pointers and some directions or what was needed in the Black community?
Housing, number one, housing, policing, school.
What year was that?
I went in 1984.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, in 84.
Mm-hmm.
Playgrounds were, equipment in the playgrounds was so bad. It was rusty. They were broken up, the swings and everything. Oh, it was terrible. I asked him for everything I asked him for. I wanted a library and the town down from us. He did that. I wanted a fire station over here. He did that. I wanted where I lived in Boston. It was a co-op, and so we were just beginning to be a co-op, and he put that through for us. We bought it at no charge. We didn't have to pay anything for the co-op. So a lot of things that I had asked, and he didn't know me. Let me tell you this: whenever he went in the Black community, I would show up because I wanted to make sure we got good policing and we got all these good things that we needed. Fire department, I wanted to see somebody who of color in upper position, and I would ask him. And so when he won, he didn't know me. He only knew there's a tall Black lady who comes to these meetings, and she asked me all these serious questions. He never knew. He asked around these white people. Oh, I don't know her. And he finally asked this white guy who I was working as an activist, community activist.
Right.
He said, "Oh yeah, that's Margaret Morrison." And like he said, "Oh, I don't know her name." He said, "Well, have her come down to my office." And so I went down and said, "Yeah, that's her." And I went down to his office and said, "Yeah, you're the one who's asked me all these hard questions." You know.
Uh-huh.
He said, I don't want you out there because your mouth is too big. You guys, he said, I want you right there so I can control you. I said, really? So he said, yeah. He said, you'd be a good person to work with. And so he asked me to come in, and I said, I went in, and he did hire me, and I got there, and I said,
this is the mayor that you helped get elected.
Yeah, this is when I got elected. I didn't look for a job. He said that he said, you know what, Margaret? He said, I come to the Black community, which was Dorchester, Mattapan, and Roxbury. I lived in Roxbury, and that was the biggest collection of Black people.
Right.
He said, you know what they asked me? He said, I'm trying to be mayor. Mayor set policy.
Right.
He said, they asked me, well, where can my trash be picked up? He said, my street light is out. He said, that's not what I'm trying to. He said, call sanitation, call street lighting. He said, but you get up there and you say, how many policemen do you have in a hierarchy? When are you going to fix the playgrounds? He said, and what kind of housing you going to?
So those are your questions.
That was my question.
Yeah, he wouldn't expect that.
Lady?
Yeah,
Said, who is this Black lady?
These some hard questions.
Yeah, it's hard question. It was hard question. He said, you didn't never ask me about street lighting. No, he didn't ask me outside. He said, this is what he told me. He said, it was just a waste of time to come to the Black community because they never asked me profound questions. They always ask me these questions that they can call to get these services from. He said, I set policy. And so you up there, he said, you stand up and you ask me these questions that nobody asked me those hard questions, you know. Like I was like, well, when are you going to appoint, lieutenants or how about the fire department and how about housing, more housing, affordable housing and stuff. And I would follow him everywhere he got. I would follow him, and he remembered that tall Black lady.
Yeah, you know why? Because that teacher put you in that hallway,
yeah,
made you attentive, made you analytical. You know, right. You able to analyze the problem.
And he noticed,
and you the two out of all those kids. Right. Yeah, that's right.
He noticed
you
me
were a thinker.
He said when he got ready to form his staff, he said, I want to find that lady that asked me all them questions. Where is she? Anybody know her? And this guy said, I know her. And then I went down. He said, "Yeah, you're the one that asked me all those hard questions. I know you." He said, "I want you to come in." And then the thing is that it was a good move because he didn't know the Black community because he was a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But all those, you know how we're so needy,
Mm-hmm.
and all those Black people who was trying to tear me down. You shouldn't be there. Why are you with him? You should come over here. They were the first one down the office.
They didn't understand.
The first one down the office trying to find out what they can get. Oh, my brother needed a job. Okay, all those kinds of questions. So I was the one, and he was like, "Margaret, you take care of that," you know. And then somebody come, "I want to see the mayor. I want to see the mayor." And the receptionist got, "Margaret, somebody out here want to see the mayor," and I know what she's gonna say. They're Black, you know. And I would go out and I would.
Well, you know how to relate to our people.
I would go out and talk to them.
And you know, you knew what was priority and what wasn't. It wasn't applicable to the office, so you was able to.
I know what to say.
Yeah,
and he would
mitigate
say,
all
he
that.
said, "Margaret, what did you tell him?" I told him. He said, "That's the same thing I want to tell them when I go in there. If they see me out and they're going to ask me," I said, "Oh, yes, I'm going to tell them, repeat exactly what you said." And we got along like that. And he never had anything. Oh, yeah. The one thing I did, my daughter can tell you, I said, "Look here, Martin Luther King died. You got these white people in position to run a Martin Luther King. That's not going to happen in my community. I'm going to be the one to have the holiday celebrated in the proper way. Go do what you want to do. Go what? Don't ask me."
He just gave you full reign.
Don't ask me.
Wow, that's
and my
great.
daughter can tell. So I ran a 3-day holiday for the Martin Luther King celebration for Boston for 10 years. You know, he said, "Whatever you want to do, just let me know what I got to do." So I said, "Okay." So we had a nice run for the Martin Luther King. I would come down to Atlanta to the King Center, and they would ask what we're doing, and they'd tell us what they want to see happen, and everybody would send all over the country. We'll send
so you got a chance
representative.
To make Coretta.
Yeah, it was, and we would all meet over the King Center, and practically every. It's like one of the states didn't send. I don't know, it was Arizona or Arkansas. They didn't send a representative, but practically every state, and I would go every year and see what the King Center. Because they wanted uniformly, they wanted that everybody was on the same page, saying the same thing, done the same way, did respectably, and all that. So I would go and I come back and I did that. It was a huge thing. I had to raise the money for it, you know, because I wanted to raise the money because I didn't want anybody saying that because those people could, well, you're taking money out of the budget for that, you know.
Right.
So I sent out the information.
So y'all did a Martin Luther King march like they did here in
Atlanta?
Oh
yeah.
Okay,
We did all of that. We had every kind of celebration you could have. What I did was like downtown, our government center where our city hall was downtown. So we have, I don't know if you heard of Faneuil Hall. It was where the old Thomas Jefferson, Adams, and all of them were there. And so this area is all still like it was when they were there.
Right.
It's a tourist thing now. And I would have, we have the Faneuil Hall. So I would have the first opening day, I'll have that there where because the tourists would come in, all the white people was welcome to come because they weren't going to come to my community.
Right.
So I had that for their day for everybody. And then I would have, that was like a Friday. And then on a Saturday, I would have a big thing in the community, maybe at the library or one of the halls there, I would have something. And then on the Sunday, I would have a closing out, like a big concert or something. And we had and then the mayor would come and he said, "Oh, that was good." he was like, he said to me, "Well, it didn't come out." And said, "Oh, I didn't have no part. That was my aide. She did that."
Look, all those things help. Get votes for him on his next run.
Kept him going.
That's right.
That kept him going.
Now, did he have cabinet meetings?
Oh yeah.
Were you able to attend those cabinet meetings?
No, I set them up. I didn't attend them. I set all his he would say, "Margaret, set up a educational meeting, set up a transportation meeting, set up a health meeting, so I would know." And he didn't tell me who come. I would set up a cabinet meeting. Well, the cabinet meeting was like everybody who was or a department head or manager. Whoever's in
police
charge,
chief, fire chief,
and
all this
superintendent,
deputy,
all those people, hospital head,
deputy mayors, and all that.
CEO, they would come. We had 50 people at each meeting. We had a big, huge room right next to my office. My office my office was like a holding office where somebody, like the superintendent, would come in to see the mayor. Well, we had like a couch, a chair, like a living room, lamps, the Wall Street Journal, pictures on the wall, and all that. That was over there. It's like a holding office. My office was, and then so they would come in, prepare. Like I said, well, you need to come in and see what he was. So they come in and clean up their agenda. So their their schedule to come in and speak to him, and
Right.
I would arrange that. And if you want a 6:00 meeting, I would have what we call it. We had a woman who was in charge of keeping the office straight and all that area, because the fifth floor was his office, and we would order food for it or something like that. So yeah, and know where he is at all times, and kind of like keep tabs on him, because he was wild. He'd go all. We had one black guy who was his security. Well, he had more than one black, but this one black guy.
He was a police officer?
Yeah, he was a police officer.
And
he was a retired police officer, because he brought him back in because this black guy, he didn't play. He was fair enough, but he wouldn't take no job. But he was fair, and everybody knew him. He was one of the first black policemen, and he hired him to come in, and he would run the show. He would really run the show.
So he was the head of executive protection.
He wasn't the head, but the mayor relied
person
on
had
him.
A personal
relationship
with this officer.
Yeah, so that was really, really a highlight. And then I worked for, my two things was youth and seniors. I put together the girl who did the same job I did for the governor. We sit beside each other. We have proclamation, welcome people. I go welcome people.
Right.
And we read a proclamation. So we would sit together all the time. I got to know her. And so she left, and she had her governor left. So she ran this organization. So she called me and told me that she had a proposal that she had written with her pastor of her church, and she had wanted to be put in order. So she called me. So I went and I put that program in order for her. That was the elderly program.
Right.
Yeah, and it really came out good. And I left and I came here.
What did they actually do for the elderly, that program?
Oh, okay. This is a good question. I like this question. What we did, we take any senior in the community who called Central Boston Elder Service. That was the name of the group, the service. And they would say, I'm Miss Jones, and I need someone to help me to get to the store, to come over and help me. I got to go to a meeting, anything that person might need. And we would find somebody in the community to match them up with that person, to assist that person.
Right.
Whatever that person's need. Your need might not be the same.
Take care of their needs.
Yeah, whatever their needs were. Okay. You would call them, did you take your meds? Stuff like that. Oh, I got to go to this event. Could you take me to that? I got a doctor's appointment. You take me there. So we find somebody to match. Okay. I had 142 people. Not all of them need help, but I'm just saying I had 142, and some of those need help.
Make sure their needs were met.
Yes, their needs were met.
That was good.
So yeah, and that was my immediate thing. And my other thing was the youth. I worked for the Girl Scouts for 1 year before I went to the mayor's office. I worked there for a year, and I ran a program there. You won't believe, this is the best story that you want to hear. These girls, inner city kids, they call it urban kids, inner city. They were dropouts from high schools. Most of them, this is the criteria. They had to have a high school dropout, having a child at 15, 16 years old. And the Girl Scouts supported these kids.
Really?
Yeah, they supported these kids. Yeah, the Girl Scouts supported these teenage girls.
Sound like back in the day.
Yeah, and they got
Job
them
Corps in Atlanta.
Exactly. And they got them on a career path.
Really?
Yeah, they got them on a career path. So I had those kids at a program for them, and it was just so rewarding to see those girls. And I'll tell you the funny story. At the end of the program, I was in the grocery store, and I saw about 3 or 4 of them. And I saw them coming on out. And they saw me, and they ran over here. And I went over there. They ran this way. And I got down. They ran the other way. So I said, oh, they're trying to dodge me, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, anyway, to make a long story short, they said, we don't like you. We hate you. I'm like, what did I do to you? I caught up with them. I hugged them. We don't like you. And you know what they said to me?
What?
You left us. You left
You
us.
left and went to the mayor.
Yeah, you left us.
Yeah, they was angry
right,
that
we
you
left
had-
us
yeah,
somewhere
yeah.
else. And then he
You
said,
was like a mother to them, and you
yeah.
just
Took off and
they
left
were
them.
mad.
They were
You went
angry
to
with
the
me
mayor.
and said, we don't like you. You left
And they
us.
didn't know you was going to do greater and better things for the community. So
They didn't know.
They didn't understand that. It's
no,
children.
they didn't
Right,
know.
right.
And the thing is that I had people
That
to come out.
That means you care for them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, they told me. He said, one of the girls said, nobody ever cared nothing about me.
That's right.
And she told me, she said, my mom, she said, I had to, her boyfriend had to eat first. And if anything left over, I got to eat. That's what she said to me. I'm like, and there's also stories like that. And the kids, I went to the housing project and I asked them, oh, you don't want her. Oh, you don't want them. And all these kids, I had like 6 buses to report to where I was loaded with kids.
Right.
And they came out and some of those kids said, I didn't want you. You ain't do it. I ain't doing that. I ain't doing it. And they had attitudes. And at the end of the program, they were like different kids. I had my girlfriend who
all they needed was some love.
Yeah. They changed up. So then I was a big sister a couple of years ago. So funny. I moved here. One of the kids called and she got my number from somebody. And I'm like, her name was Annette. She said, I hadn't seen her. She had graduated from high school. She had gotten married and everything. I hadn't seen her in years.
This is one of the kids that was in the Girl Scout.
Yeah. Wow. Not in the Girl Scout. One of the kids I had mentored.
Okay. Or mentored in the community.
Yeah. She said, I answered the phone. I said, hello.
You don't remember her name.
Annette. Her name was Annette. Okay. Annette Benning. I said, hello. And she said, hi, Miss Morrison. Annette. She broke down and cried. Miss Morrison, how did you know me? How did you know me? I hadn't seen her in 20 years or so. And she said, how did you know it was me? And then I said, Annette, I always remember you, honey. And she started telling me her life story and all of that sort of stuff. And she was one of these kids that was, the kids picked on her.
Right. Yeah.
And so I took her in, took her to and then nothing's personal, just wherever I went, to the store, whatever. Right. He came over, McDonald's, stuff like that. And my next important thing was my church. I chaired the Women's Day program for 10 years because those lazy people wouldn't do anything. And I tried.
You're one of those people. Like, you're going to stay there until it's done right, until it's finished.
Well, I didn't want to do it, but nobody, I ain't doing it. And for 10 years, I'm trying to get them, I ain't doing it. So finally, I did. And then I said, I'm not doing it no more. And then the lapse of 2 years, nobody did. This old lady picked it up. And I did Vacation Bible School. I did hospitality.
That's a lot.
And no, that ain't a lot. And tell you what I did. On Sunday morning, this other lady and I, we were in charge of hospitality. We did food collation every Sunday. It was a very small church, only 100 people.
Right.
And we did food out of our pocket. He'll help me go out of our pocket for those people. Some of them didn't even appreciate it, but we didn't care. Some people came up off the street.
Yeah. That's what it's about, just like God takes us, and some of them don't appreciate what he does. Yeah.
So that's those kinds of things. And then one of the most rewarding things, Melvin, is this. One of the most my seniors and my kids, my youth I was a mediator for the Roxbury Court.
Really?
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it. Yeah, oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe some of the cases I got. I would go in, the judge would say, I was a trained mediator. I went to UMass Boston, and I was trained as a mediator. And he would say,
so you was a mediator for who you was mediating for? Who was you representing?
Well, I was the regular court, the courthouse. People you go to court and you
criminal cases or civil?
No, civil cases.
Civil cases. Okay.
Criminal cases for lawyers.
Okay. So I do civil cases. So you trying to settle it?
Yeah, it's trying to settle, get a agreement between two
people.
You
most like a negotiator.
Yeah, that's
right. I got you.
And that was funny because let me tell you something. I went to UMass Boston and Harvard, is right down the street.
Right.
So they're like, we're Harvard. You're just UMass Boston. We're Harvard, And Harvard, they had trained all these mediators and they didn't have no place to put them. But let me tell you something. Those, both white kids, I live in a black community. They're out of Harvard University. They didn't want to go to any other place but where I live because you know what they said? If we could get in there, we can go anywhere because we had the worst cases of any people all over the country. You know, the black community, they have so much going on.
So much problem. So
yeah, and they wanted to be.
Yeah, right. Had to fight.
I only did it for a year because the guy who did it before me.
Probably was draining to you, too.
It was. I did it for a year, and they ran the other guy out. He said he got tired of them. They would come into the court, and they would sit there and sort of and try to intimidate you because they wanted to be there. And I gave it up. But it was very interesting, a lot of it. I enjoyed that. Let me tell you, I left that mediated job. You know what the judge did? Now, when I worked in the mayor's office, I didn't even know this. There was a person who's in charge of all the judges. I didn't know they had a boss, but her husband worked for the mayor.
Chief Justice or something?
No, she was just their boss. She was a lawyer,
really?
And she was in charge of all of the judges all over, and she was in charge of them. And her husband worked for the mayor, not in my office, but worked for the mayor in the suite of his offices. And she would come in there to visit her husband. So I would talk to her all the time. Just nice person. No, she was friendly, but she didn't play because she knew what to do. So this judge gave me criminal cases, and I'm not a lawyer. I'm a mediator. I'm not supposed to do that. But he gave me this criminal case, and where the girlfriend went to the wife's house to beat the wife up because the husband. This is
the side girl going to beat the wife up.
Yeah, the girlfriend went to the wife's house to beat the wife up because the husband had said that he was going to buy the girlfriend a BMW if she went out and boosted enough to raise the money to buy the car. So she went out and she boosted all the money and she got enough money, put the down payment on the car, and he gave the car to the wife.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
So the girlfriend went there and the wife took the car, she dragged her down the hallway and she dragged her and she got a knife and she stabbed her all in the face. Now, that's criminal. That's a felony.
That's aggravated assault.
You know, that judge gave me that case, and I was like, "You're not supposed to do this." But I knew his boss. And I'm saying, I can't tell his boss. So anyway, and so the girlfriend brought the wife to the court, and the judge, I mediated the case, and I got an agreement that she stayed away from each other, and so they agreed and all that. The judge said to the girlfriend, he said, "You disrespected the sanctity of that marriage and that house. You disrespect that couple and their marriage." And he said, "Let me tell you something." He said, "You are never, ever, ever enter this court again." That's what he told her, the girlfriend. He said, "You'll never." He said, "If you ever come to this court." She should have did
some time.
Huh?
She should have did time.
I know, but he didn't. He said, "You ever enter this court again?"
She stabbed the lady in the face.
He said, "You will be." He said, "You will be locked up." And he gave. So then I was like, "He's not supposed to give me this kind of crap." The next thing I said, he gave me a case where this is the second case. That's when I left. He said, these 6 white boys jumped on this one black guy at the T station, at the subways, and they beat him up, and they did a lot of harm to him.
Aggravated assault again.
Yeah.
It was a criminal case.
Yeah, it was a criminal case. And I said, "I'm not supposed to do this."
I know what he was doing.
He said, "Oh, you do such a big." He said, "This is what the judge said to me."
Yeah.
He said, "You do such a good job." He says, he told me, he said, if we don't take another case this day, it will take us 5 years to resolve all of these cases that we have on hand right now. If we don't ever take another case." He said, "That's how backed up we are." What's that got to do with me? I'm not supposed to do that.
It sounded like he was corrupt.
And I
taking
left.
Those cases that should have been criminal, and it probably was friends of his or some kind of political connection.
Yeah,
running through civil court really is a neighborhood type mediation,
right?
And then let them off the hook, and they don't get criminal charges.
And I said, "I ain't being a part of this." So I left that. I said, "Come on, Harvard, come on in. You can have this." So I don't know what they did after that, but those Harvard kids, they sat back there and
it didn't meet the smell test on that one.
what I'm getting at is that most of the things that I did, I really liked and enjoyed.
Right. After the mayor left there, you stayed in city government?
No, I didn't. I would have stayed, but the person who the mayor had appointed to be the commissioner of the what we call the city hospital, like Grady would be, um, he asked me to come over to his office and to collate all of the the clinics around the city, and I got sick. I knew I was sick. I was going to take the job. He wanted me to work in this. I was going to take it, and this is, oh my God, is so good. The mail left right at the same time. The mail left. I was going to take that next couple of weeks. I was going to go there too, and I knew I wasn't well, so I said, "No, this." I had gone to the doctor. Gone to the doctor. They said, "That's wrong." Gone to the doctor. That's wrong. Gone to the doctor. And finally, I went to the Boston. The Boston Celtics. Right. Their wives had a mammogram program, and so I picked up. Said, "I'm going to go in and see what this mammogram thing's about." So I went in to the office, and I met this woman. She was a nurse practitioner, and I didn't talk about the mammogram. I was talking about this little thing I had on my side. So I said, "Oh, let's get it, looked at." I said, "Okay." Well, so we looked at it, and then she said, went back to it's nothing wrong with it. And she was like, they took a biopsy. She said, "Send it back." And it came back that I had cancer. And that was a week before. The mayor had left that 2 weeks before. I was supposed to go to work with this commissioner at the hospital that next week. And she said that I had cancer. Now, I had the city council's office right in front of the mayor's office. They're over here. We're over here. So that they knew that the mayor was going to the Vatican and Italy to work. And so the city council people, like 3 of them, came, "Well, could you come over to my office and work with me?" I'm like, no. I told them, no, I can't. I knew that I was going to be not being able to go because I had to take care of my health. So I didn't go over there to work. So I had to take care of my health. So that's why I did. I would have gone to the hospital to work as Boston Medical Center. I would have gone there. That's like equivalent to Grady. But I had to stop, and then I had cancer.
You had to see about your health, get healthy again. Right?
Yeah, that's why I didn't go. And so I didn't go there. And so it took me a while to get my health back in shape. So I did that. At that time, I didn't have enough time in, and I didn't have quite enough age in. I had to lay out for a year, which is okay because I said, God is good. I laid out for that year, and the next year I was able to get my retirement. I was old enough to get my retirement, but I didn't have a lot of time in. But I did have enough to get some retirement, so I retired.
You needed that rest, all that, but you did.
I needed, and people say, "How do you do so much?" I'm like, I don't know. I don't even think it that way.
Right. So you retired.
I retired, and
did you do anything after that?
Yeah, well, that's when I did. Oh gosh, people call me. Could you help me? Could you come over and do this? Would you join me? Would you come? After I got well, I didn't do anything right away, and that's when I went to the seniors to work with them for the I told you, to match up a senior with the help that somebody need. Yeah.
So you kind of did this voluntarily.
I worked a couple of jobs after that, and then I said, "Wait a minute, I'm retired. I'm a retire. I'm a real retiree. I'm going to retire." So then I decided not to. Then I decided I'm going to travel. So I got on a boat, I got on a plane, and I went to Europe, I went to Africa, I went South Pacific, I went to the islands, Kenya, Tahiti.
Oh, so you're fulfilling this bucket list now.
Yeah, I'm
so your first trip was Europe.
No, my first trip was to the islands. I went down to Jamaica and all down Nassau. And then I went there.
What was your favorite island trip?
Oh, well, I don't know. I sort of lumped them all together because everybody went to Jamaica. So I guess to Jamaica. Went to Jamaica twice, and then went to Nassau and then St. Thomas and all that. I went to most of them a couple of times, same ones again.
Which one was you like the best? What island was the most prettiest beaches?
Kind of hard. I don't know. It was St. Thomas. I guess St.
Yeah,
Thomas.
St. Thomas, St. John got some
Yeah,
beautiful beaches. Yeah.
we went to St. Thomas, St. John's
Right,
together.
right,
Yeah, we
right.
went there a couple of times, and then after that, we said like, I don't want to go to let's go to Alaska. Yeah, let's go to Alaska. So we got on the ship. And
you took a cruise?
Yeah,
Alaskan cruise?
most of the cruises, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I took 10 cruises. We went to
Wow,
Alaska,
man.
and then we went all around there. And then next time we say, it was 2 weeks in Alaska, and then we say, let's go. I'm tired. I'm gonna go back. Let's go somewhere else. So let's go to Europe. Okay, let's go to Europe. So went to Italy, went to France, went to Greece,
Italy,
went to Spain.
Yeah. What you like in Italy? You went
Oh,
to Vatican
Rome.
City?
Yeah, went to Rome. Yeah, went to Vatican City. Went to Colosseum over there. I don't know, all those places we went. We went to Greece with the Parthenon, all those ruins and places, and went to Barcelona. Went to France. Went to see Tina Turner's house.
Went to Paris, Eiffel Tower. And
I went to France twice.
Oh, went there twice.
Yeah,
Okay.
and went to England twice.
And London, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then
wow.
I went. Then after that, was like, I don't want to go there no more. Let's go somewhere else. So we went to the South Pacific. We started in Hawaii. Went to Bora Bora, Maria, down to Tahiti, and I don't know. It's kind of confusing. And then my son got married in Kenya, so we went there for a month.
You stayed in Kenya for a month.
We stayed in there got to know that
place.
Did you like
hanging out in Kenya?
Oh, it was so interesting.
Really?
I mean, it was good. I didn't know anything about, other parts of Africa,
right?
But just going there was an eye opener.
Country, country of Kenya.
Just to see how they lived, and
continent.
I had a month to check out everything, which was a good thing. And there's so many stories. I'm not going to go into the stories, but there's so many stories that I could tell about being there.
No, tell me.
Well, okay. Well, one of the things is I'll take the good part first. Well, the good part is that everybody makes you feel like you're at home, like they've known you for years.
Really?
Yeah, you feel right at home.
No strangers.
Yeah, you're no stranger. They ask you questions, and they tell them they don't know about our history here in the Black people history. A lot of them, what, you're a slave? How did you get to? What do you mean? They don't know that. And the other part is that crime is up there. Right. Crime is high. And the other part is that they make do with very little. They don't have anything, and it's such a different way of lifestyle. And the government was so corrupt. It was just, I experienced it when I was there. Moy, who was the president, he would have his motorcade going down the street, and everybody had to jump over us. And one day we were going down the street, and Moy coming, and we had my daughter-in-law, she's from Kenya. We had to pull over. We didn't pull over fast enough. So his people jumped out the car. And this guy, they pulled him out, and they bent him over the car, and they beat him, because he didn't pull over fast enough.
Beat the driver up.
Yeah, they beat him up. And so it was like, why are they doing that? And this is a funny thing. I'll tell you this funny story, and I won't tell you no more about it. But we would go into the museums and all that kind of stuff. So we got to this museum. So if you're a foreigner, you have to pay twice as much. The natives have to say, if you go there, if it's $10, if it's $5 for the native, then $10 for the foreigners. So I'm a foreigner. So my daughter said, "Oh no," she said, "Don't say nothing." She did that talk because she know how to talk. She said, "Don't say nothing." She said, she said, so the girl said, "Oh no, she got to pay $10." She said, "No." So my daughter said, "No, she's native." She said, the girl, she said, "She's got to pay $10. She's not native." So I'm looking. I want to say something. So the girl is taking the pay. She said, "She's white. Don't tell me. I know she's white." She said,
"Because you weren't blue black, huh?"
Because I didn't have the complexion. I didn't have the clothes.
You didn't have a dark complexion. Yeah.
No, she said, "She's white. She got to pay twice." And I'm like, I couldn't say nothing. I couldn't say. So finally, my daughter-in-law said to him, no. So my daughter-in-law got there. We got there that day, and her brother said, "You got to go get your identification." So she went and got her driver's license that day. The same day we got there. But let me tell you, we got to Kenya. Her girlfriend, who lives in Kenya, told her that she was going to meet us at the airport. We got there. Because they will take anything out of your luggage that they want. You get to Kenya, if they see something in your luggage, they want it, it's gone. So you don't put anything in your luggage, that you don't, that you're scared of. So the girlfriend, Betty, her name was Betty, who was, if you got money, you help run the country.
Mm-hmm.
So Betty wasn't there, so she's supposed to have been there because she's high up. And so she, where is she? She's supposed to meet us at the gate. She's not here. What are we gonna do? And but we're way down the corridor, and we saw this guy. Come on. Is he talking about? Come on. And we were looking. What is he saying? He said, come on. No, Betty, I don't know who. He said, he opened the side door, said, our luggage was sitting out the side door of the airport. Our luggage was sitting out there. And I'm like, what? Because we didn't go through custom. I wanted my what do you call it? What do you call it?
Passport?
Yeah, passport. I wanted to have the Kenya stamp on it.
Right.
Never got his stamp. He goes, come on. And he said, here's your luggage right there. How did you get our luggage over there? So we got our luggage. And Betty had come. She had been there and told him who we were. He had described us in a way that this guy, whoever he was, knew it was us.
Right.
And so we got our luggage, and then her family was there, and they picked us up. I just couldn't believe how that was happening.
She gave you an unofficial global entry. Right.
It was so unbelievable. So anyway, that was our introduction to Kenya.
Right.
Yeah. So that was a good time.
So all of the traveling, which one was your I say your top bucket list?
My top bucket list was
number
Greece.
one place, Greece.
I loved it there.
Yeah,
you walked in there, no matter what you say, good morning. No, they'll tell you, say it this way. You get in a cab, say it this way. They taught you, everybody there taught you to speak Greek. And I went into everybody has, in Europe, everybody has a marketplace. And the marketplace, I don't know how, anyway, I said, this is the beginning. And this will 10 miles down here. That's how long the market, all over.
So you enjoyed Greece.
Yeah. And so we walked in there and we went to the marketplace. And oh my gosh, I couldn't believe this. Got to the marketplace. There was these people there. And like we were talking here.
Right.
They're Greek. They was talking like this. I'm like, how can you talk like that? You're Greek, And they just saying, this girl said to me, she said, no, we're American. Oh, you're American? She said, yeah. They said, during World War II, the United States came over, and the Greeks are shipbuilders.
Wow.
Yeah, and so they had the Greeks come over, and they brought all those Greek people to America to build ships. And they came over, and they built the ships. And so when they retired, they went back to Greece with a big load of money, and they got their retirement. And so she said, we have one of the areas that they lived in was Sudbury. They had jewelry stores from coming over here, making that money. They had clothing stores. They had all these good things. They had one here, one there. I mean, I must about 5 or 6 of them had come to the United States. They made good money. And the parents had retired, and the parents had retired from here, and they was getting that monthly check, getting a pension, and they lived good over because our dollar was so high that they made, they lived very well. But I did like it. Let me tell you how stupid I was. You ready to laugh? I'm in Greece, right? I go in the restaurant. Can I have a Greek salad? And they said, all our salads are Greek. I'm so used to saying a Greek salad, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
You're in Greek, so they.
I know all the salads.
Just get a salad.
All our salads are Greek. I felt so stupid. But anyway, well, that's my life of traveling. Yeah.
Now, you're 82.
7. I'll be 87 in December.
87. Wow.
Yeah.
That's right. 87.
That's a while.
Now, what did you do I guess you died, or what do you think give you this longevity? You live so
Well,
long.
I give all the credit to the Lord. I'm a Christian,
Mm-hmm.
and my grandmother brought me up as a Christian. I, I remember being in the church at 4 years old, all through my life, and I got away at one
You
time.
look good too.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Malcolm.
I see a lot of people at 70 and look like they've been through the ringer.
Well, I try. Well, I give my credit to the Lord. I try to take myself away from a lot of things that's depressing, stressing, disturbing.
Okay.
I try to get out of that kind of situation as much as I stay away from that. But basically, I don't know. I try to help people.
I'm looking at your skin. It's just smooth.
Well, you know what?
Tell these young girls what they need to do to keep the wrinkles off their face. Is that just DNA, genetic?
I don't know.
Special cream,
no,
that concoction that your grandmama gave you?
Slap it up a little bit.
You put your face in cold water?
I just wash my face with some facial cleansers and moisturize. And I do a little facial exercise.
So you don't want to give up the secret. Maybe we can patent whatever it is.
Yeah. No, I do.
Make me a millionaire.
I do. But my parents, neither one of my parents looked like they were that old. My mom.
Right.
No, my mom, she didn't. My father, she didn't. Wow. And my father he drank a lot. I mean, not crazy drinking, but he drank a lot. And he didn't look like an old man when he passed away. He was like in his 80s.
Good genes.
Yeah, and my mom didn't. My mom didn't either. They both looked very good for their age. My mom, my great grandmother was full Cherokee. Well, I'm sorry, she was full Indian. I don't know about Cherokee, but she was full Indian. I remember her, but she was dark. She was my complexion, but she had that hair. Mm-hmm. And then my grandmother, her mother, mm-hmm. she came out. I don't know what happened, but she came out light. My grandmother came out light.
You know how we mixed back in the day. The master looked out there in the field, that cotton field, said, "Woo,
who is that?
I got the hell, Mary Jo." You know how that was.
And then my mom, she came out light, mm-hmm. but my father, he was dark. I took more complexion on my father. Mm-hmm. My mom, my mom looked like an Indian, and I don't like the way she looked. When I was a kid, mm-hmm. I was like, no, she don't look like folks I know. Mm-hmm. My mother's father was Indian.
Uh-huh.
When my mother was part Indian, and they had them names. My great grandmother, I don't know what her name was, but they called her Cindy, but she had some more names attached to it. And my grandmother, her name was Exie. That was her name in the Indian name. Mm-hmm. But then, so they had, and my grandfather, his name was Menifee. He was Indian. So anyway, I just came out.
And they all were tall?
My grandfather was 6'6". My father was 6'4" or 6'5", and my mother was 5'10". Mm. So yeah, they were all tall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I came from a tribe that had height.
Say 100 years from now, mm-hmm. and people look back this podcast and looking at Margaret Morrison's life. Mm-hmm. What do you like to leave all those young people that's mm-hmm. going to view this thing 50 and 100 years from today? What would you like to tell them to have a good life? Mm-hmm. What they need to? What words of wisdom you like to give?
I forget now, but I write a lot of stuff. One of my things that I got from my grandmother mm-hmm. was be prepared. Whatever life gives you, be prepared. And the other thing is, don't depend on nobody to do for you. Take care of yourself. And, and the other part to that is reach back and bring one. Mm. Always look back and bring one. That's what I say to these young people like now. These young people making millions of dollars. Bring somebody up with you, Like I said, my life has been like that. I mean, as I spoke to you just now, I mean, I always try to bring
one. Care for the community.
Yeah, care for somebody. So bring one with you. Be prepared, And the other thing is that if life gives you make some lemonade. Don't let it stress you out. You can't do that.
Right.
If you do that, me, I got gray hair, but I don't have a lot of gray hair on my head.
You don't?
No, I don't have. Am I 87? I'll be 87 in December. I don't have a lot of, because I refuse, because I didn't have the best marriage. I didn't have the best childhood. I didn't have but I tell you what, when I got on my own, I was like, all that stuff is gone. I'm going to be me now, because I took my grandmother's wisdom, which I didn't know at that time it was wisdom. She had wisdom. I just thought, this is a mean old lady. Sit up in that chair, gal. That's what she didn't. I didn't talk to my kids that way, right? And you don't do this. Check that gum out of your mouth, and smack me on the back of my head or something. Didn't I tell you? I didn't do that, but I knew, because the way that white people brought their kids up, Johnny could be laying on the floor having the biggest tantrum in the world. They just leave him there. Go on and have your tantrum, right? But get your butt up, That's how black people talk to their kids. Yeah. So I brought my kids in the middle of that. So I wanted them to be prepared with life. I wanted them to help when you can help other people, but put God first. Always put God first. Amen. God is what runs the whole thing. And I know, because when I needed him and I called on the Lord, every time I call on him. Now, there are times, I can't say every time, I shouldn't say, but there are times he gives me answers, but the answer can be no. That's still an answer, know, and I respect that. And I wait. And when I call her Kim, when Kim asked me to come down here to live, I said, I have to think about it. I have to think about it. And she said, and the Lord said, this is what the Lord said to me at that time, because she moved out here in 88. Mm-hmm. And right around that, 88, 98, all them eights, she was calling me. I'm like, let me think about it. So then the Lord said, now, you can go on down there.
I know she says warmer.
I know.
You ain't got to shovel no snow.
Right.
Yeah.
I told her, I'll think about it. And the Lord said, well, if you want to move down there, go ahead. But he said, but if you move on my time, you won't have no problem. But if you want to move down there on your time, go ahead. So I said, I better sit here and wait for the Lord, because I don't know. So I told her, so I don't know. And then the Lord said, this is your time. You go right on down there.
And I'll be. We glad you came.
Yeah, I came on down here. Remember, I didn't have no problem. Everything came together. I got the house. When she told me to come down here, I couldn't afford no house. Well, I was just on my pension. I couldn't afford no house. And then the real estate went down. The Lord said, oh, I looked around and said, she said, yeah, okay, I can do this. So then I decided, okay. And I'm glad I came too. So I just said, well, I can do. But I'm telling you, if you just put your trust in the Lord, tell him, he'll guide you. Everywhere I look, my kids, my son, my oldest son, he went to private school all his life. I got a phone call. We have a scholarship. Could your son take a scholarship to go to Boston University or Harvard? I don't know you. Who are you? So my son said, I'm not Harvard material. I'll go to Boston University. Sure enough, off he went for your scholarship. But then he got tired of that. He wanted to go to another school. I said, okay, fine. You find your way. Her the same way. We got a scholarship. Can you? Yeah, sure, she can take it. But I'm just saying, how can I do this? I don't have no money. Who am I? But I mean, all the steps of the way that I had, like, little girl knock on my door with a shopping bag with a dress in it and a sweater. In November, she got on flip-flop and a sweater on and a dress. She knocked on my door. I seen her one time, and she was, long story short, she was having a problem. She was 9 years old. And I said, here's my number. Call me. She didn't call me. I gave her my address. She didn't call me. She got in a cab and went to the address, and guy came up and she said, she told me to bring you here. So I gave the guy $20. She saved me for 2 years. I finally found her mother 6 months later. Oh, well, I know she's in good hands. She's with you. I don't have to. I got enough people in my house. She came with me. She said she had no place. she's 9 years old. She's in the first grade. I had to go to school. The teachers was good they helped her she stayed after school early in the morning, and they brought her up to the third grade, and then after a while, I couldn't take it. I wouldn't get any. Nobody gave me any money for her, so I took care of her for those 2 years, almost 3. So my daughter's there, so she knows, and I had all my kids. So but the Lord put it on my heart, not just her, put it on my heart to do, and not just her. I mean, other people too. I took in other folks came in. I said, "Come on in, come on," and I don't. Mel, I'm telling you, I don't regret it. I don't miss it. Every penny, the Lord just bless me, and tell you. So I'm sitting there.
He gave you all these extra years.
It comes back. Right? That's right. It comes right back to me. Yeah. It comes right back, and I can tell you when I need something, I can pick up the phone right here in Georgia. Because Boston, I was all set. I knew everybody. Even here in Georgia, I can pick up the phone and say, "Could you help me?" Sure. I mean, I'm blessed because I listen to the Lord. And when he tells me to move, I move. If he say don't move, I don't move. But if he say no, I don't. I say okay. Mm-hmm. But yeah, but I tell the kids today, I would say, first of all, you gotta find out who you are. But let me say this: each and every one of us can do something. The Lord put it in us. You just gotta find out what it is that you can do. Your purpose. Mm-hmm. You gotta find out what your purpose is in life, and go. Fine. And if you find that out, you'll be so happy. You go so far just doing that sort of stuff. Engage yourself. Then you can reach out and do other things. And so my thing was helping older people and helping younger people. That's how I did it. And then that was my passion. And then on the other side, I didn't bring it with me, but she can tell you, I got enough. I was going to publish my poetry book. I got enough to publish like 3 books.
You need to do it.
Yeah, I got so much. I just sit there. I write. So when I'm alone, I want something bother me, I just pick my pen and I just go. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So so I say, my grandmother, I go what my grandmother said, be prepared. Be prepared. She said, always be prepared. Every tub sits on its own bottom. You're responsible for yourself, Find out what you can do to keep you going, and then you can bring somebody along with you. That's how I feel about it.
And I thank you, Ms. Morrison, for all those words of wisdom. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people are going to benefit from this story. Mm-hmm. I know I've been enriched, and I know many, many people are going to be enriched from this story. And I'm glad that you answered the call, and you came and you gave us your story, a humble story and a life. And I know God has blessed you. And I want to thank you. And from that, let's go get something to eat.
Oh, thank you too. All right. Nice talking with you. All right then. All righty. I'll drink to that.